Streaks on the china never mattered before. Who cared when you drop-kicked your jacket?
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Belvedere Bros, the world's best, I can assume, the world's best Mr. Belvedere podcast. Now, Matt, first thing I got to talk to you about is the theme song to Mr. Belvedere. This is what we're starting the episode with. How do you feel about this theme song?
So it starts off with the piano playing, and I was like,
yes.
I was like, all right. And then it goes into this ragtime theme song, and I just wrote, holy shit, this theme song is amazing.
Streaks on the china, never had it before.
Yeah, it's
Who
so
cares?
good. I don't know if I'm going to be watching more episodes of Mr. Belvedere, but I'm definitely going to be listening to this theme song with regularity.
You're going to have no choice but to watch more episodes. What are you talking about?
Are we truly going to do 114 episodes or 160 episodes of Belvedere Bros?
Why wouldn't we? You think I wanted to start the Belvedere Bros podcast to just do one episode?
I thought this was like a bit that we were going to drop on the feed as a joke.
No, this is a new podcast now. Okay, let's talk about it. Had you ever seen Mr. Belvedere before? Is this your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time watching. I was familiar with Mr. Belvedere. I actually got, because of this, I got a joke from another show that I love. So there's a cartoon that MTV aired like 6 episodes of before it got canceled called Clone High. Were you ever familiar with Clone High?
You love Clone High.
I do love Clone High. Listen, a lot of people love Clone High, but I love Clone High. And in that, the mad scientist has a robot butler named Mr. Butlertron. And the joke is that the butler calls everybody Wesley. Like he goes, hello, Wesley. And I was like, all right, I guess that's a reference to something. And then watching this, I'm like, oh, it's because that's one of the kids on Mr. Belvedere.
Okay, fine. This is your first viewing of Mr. Belvedere, but I grew up with Mr. Belvedere. So I'm very excited to start this podcast. Today, we're talking about the pilot episode, which is titled Stranger in the Night. Now, this premiered on March 15th, 1985 on ABC, and it's based on the character of Lynn Aloysius Belvedere, which was a character created by Gwen Davenport for her 1947 novel Belvedere, which was later adapted into the 1948 film Sitting Pretty. Did you know that this was based on, like, 1940s literature?
No. No, I did not. That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a big movie. It was a big movie in which Clifton Webb plays Mr. Belvedere, who was hired to babysit some rowdy children by the parents who were played by Robert Young and Maureen O'Hara.
Here you see Robert Young, who plays the role of a harassed father. And this is a close-up of Maureen O'Hara, whose beauty enhances every picture in which she appears. I regret to inform you that in Sitting Pretty, I do not get Miss O'Hara. And now the screen is graced with a close-up of me. No amount of genius will make me a Casanova or a Tyrone Power. But as Belvedere, the babysitter, I do have my triumphs, especially over these 3 potential assassins and their parents. Mr. King, I've been trying to teach Roddy that bathing is not a social function. Kindly do not talk to him.
Mr. Belvedere, you dance divinely.
Yes, I do.
What's the matter? You forget something?
I can't go.
Why?
Well, I can't leave you here alone with Belvedere.
Why not? Belvedere?
Now eat your breakfast and chew each mouthful 28 times. Not 20, mind you, or 26, but 28 times.
They also made 2 more Mr. Belvedere movies, Mr. Belvedere Goes to College in 1949 and Mr. Belvedere Rings the Bell in 1951. Those were not as successful as Sitting Pretty. Now, this is all to say that in our Mr. Belvedere, Lynn Belvedere is played by Christopher Hewett, who was an English actor and theater director who had appeared in a bunch of Broadway musicals. So we have ourselves a Broadway star as our Mr. Belvedere.
Something that a lot of listeners might recognize him from, because I was like, I seen this man from something. And I was looking at his credits, and the big one that jumped out at me was that he was in 1967's The Producers, the first Mel Brooks movie. The Producers, he plays the cross-dressing director that they hire to direct Springtime for Hitler. He does not have his iconic mustache in there, but you look at that face and you're like, yeah, that's this guy. This is Belvedere for sure.
Oh, dear. You're staring at my dress. I should explain. I'm going to the choreographer's ball tonight. That is a prize for the best costume.
And we always win.
I'm not so sure about tonight. I'm supposed to be the Grand Duchess Anastasia. But I think I look more like Tugboat Annie.
So our Lynn Belvedere, Matt, I got to tell you, I was really dreading looking up how old Mr. Belvedere was because I thought it was going to be one of those situations where I'm like, God damn it, Mr. Belvedere is younger than me. But it is not one of those situations. He is, in fact, 61 years old at the time of the pilot episode. Of course, I love the fact that this show takes place in the suburbs of Pittsburgh because I live in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. We also have a cast that includes Eileen Graff as the mother, Marcia Owens. Bob Uecker plays the dad, George Owens. Now, do you know Bob Uecker?
I know the name Bob Uecker. I know he's a name in sports. I know he's associated with sports. I think he's a sportscaster, right? He's like a pretty famous sportscaster.
Yes, he passed away in recent years. Now, I thought you were going to know Bob Uecker very well because, yes, he was a pro baseball player. Then he went on to become an announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers for 54 seasons. But I thought you were going to recognize Bob Uecker.
I knew this name. I just looked. Yes, he's the play-to-play guy from the Major League movies.
Of course, yeah.
He has one of the best lines I would argue, one of the best lines in like cinema history, which is when he asks his co-announcer about a call that's happening and he's got food in his mouth and there's just silence for a couple seconds and he just goes, they don't call him the best color man in the business for nothing.
I remember as a kid Bob Uecker being famous beyond just baseball.
Yeah. Well, I knew the name for sure. I think yep. Okay. So I also probably was familiar with him because in 2010 he was inducted into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame for his appearances at WrestleMania 3 and 4. I was definitely watching the Hall of Fame inductions back then, so I probably remember his name from that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew I knew his name. I knew his name was associated with sports. I did forget that he was the person from Major League. But then as soon as you were like, I think you would know him from, my brain auto-filled. Yes, he's Major League.
Rounding out the core cast of the show, we got Rob Stone as the oldest sibling, Kevin Owens. Then we got the middle kid, Tracy Wells plays Heather Owens. And then we got the real star of the kid show, Wesley Owens, played by Bryce Beckham. And we're going to talk about him later because there's a great YouTube comment about him. But I want to go back to the theme song for a second. Now, the title of this theme song is According to Our New Arrival, and it's performed by the ragtime singer Leon Redbone, and he just knocks it out of the park, man. What a performance.
He crushes it. Leon Redbone, who a Christmas 365 throwback real quick, but Leon Redbone is the voice of the snowman in the movie Elf. The Will Ferrell film Elf, the claymation snowman is Leon Redbone, and on the soundtrack to Elf, he covers Baby It's Cold Outside with Zooey Deschanel.
I really can't
But baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening
Very iconic voice. Very, very like cool voice that he has.
I was going to say, like, it's so funny because it starts out like it's some like proper British royal. So I don't know how to describe like how it starts out, like the way it sounds.
It just sounds fancy. It's like a piano, like you're going to see like a quartet perform at the theater.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Good point. That's a good way to put it. But how I described it is it turns into a real grimy ragtime song.
It's grimy ragtime too. It's not, this isn't like do like kind of stuff. It is like ba 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 like
Streaks on the China, never mattered before. Who cares?
No, it's good. It's a good song. Did this chart? Can we do this on One
Well,
Hit Thunder?
what I will say, Matt, you might not know this. It was co-written by Judy Hart Angelo, who I don't know a lot about, and Gary Portnoy. And you might know Gary Portnoy as the guy who co-wrote the theme song to Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that name. Who did he do a theme song for? Cheers. 100%.
He also co-wrote the Punky Brewster theme song. And
not as iconic.
I love the Punky Brewster theme song. I want to, real quick, there's not that many, but I want to go through the lyrics because it really does set up the show. Streaks on the china, never mattered before, who cared? When you drop-kicked your jacket as you came through the door, no one glared. But sometimes things get turned around and no one's spared. All hands look out below. There's a change in the status quo. We're going to need all the help that we can get. According to our new arrival, life is more than mere survival, and we might just live the good life yet. And you know how we're going to live that good life, Matt?
By Mr. Belvedere being there?
Yeah. Mr. Belvedere is apparently moving in to be the butler in our suburb of Pittsburgh, one-income house where the mother is in law school.
So I have to tell you something that struck. I was not sure what to think about this at first. Like, it starts off and I'm like, all right, these siblings are fighting. The jokes are like, whatever. Belvedere kind of steals the show when he shows up. Like, so Barb's been showing me The Nanny. I never watched Fran Drescher's The Nanny, and we saw that it was on Disney Plus, so I've been binging that. This is like if Niles from The Nanny had his own sitcom, because I do just love a prim and proper butler / housekeeper that just gets quips, just firing off quips. And I did want to write down 2 quips that he gets very early on where I was like, all right, I'm into this.
Okay, I hope one of them's the one that made me. I literally, you wouldn't think this. I was watching this episode by myself. There was one thing he said where I laughed out loud.
There was 2 that I laughed at. The one is, she says, what about cooking? And he says, is that when you put the raw thing over the fire until it gets hot? And then she goes, well, what about the children? And he said, well, as far as I'm concerned, they can stay.
Oh, that wasn't the one. What made me laugh the hardest was the moment when George gets home from work and he hasn't met Mr. Belvedere yet. And he walks in the door and Mr. Belvedere is like standing at attention, but he hasn't noticed him yet. And George, before he turns around, he goes,
I'm home. Hey, where's my high big boy kiss?
I haven't even been hired yet.
Who are you?
Belvedere. Lynn Belvedere.
I'm George.
You're late, George.
That did get a laugh out of me. The other one is not him as much as Wesley, but when he mentions that he studied under a yogi, and the kid and Wesley just immediately goes, "Hey, boo boo."
Like, I knew you were going to love that.
That's a solid joke right there.
So basically, the plot summary of this episode is that Marcia, the mother, has placed an ad seeking a housekeeper, and then Mr. Belvedere just shows up at the house, and there's a blizzard going on outside. And meanwhile, within the episode, Wesley's hamster got loose somewhere in the house. Heather's boyfriend is pressuring her into sex, and Kevin brings home a bad report card. But it's not actually a bad report card, and we'll get to that.
Wait. Maybe I got confused. Maybe I missed something. Was he intentionally tanking classes to not have to drive, or did he make a fake report card that showed him doing worse than normal?
He just forged his report card.
Okay.
He actually was doing okay in his classes, but the plot point, a strange plot point, he doesn't want to drive because
he doesn't want to drive. I was baffled by this.
He doesn't want to grow up. Life's going by too fast.
Yeah, real Ferris Bueller over there. But
I can't really relate to that because I wanted to drive the second I turned 16. But it's worth noting that in every episode of Mr. Belvedere, it ends with Mr. Belvedere sitting and writing in his journal to sort of like tie it up. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This episode, Stranger in the Night, was written by Frank Dungan and Jeff Stein, who I believe were the creators of the show. I wanted to make note, Matt, of some things that were going on right around the time that this episode premiered, like in the world.
Okay.
Just to give you some context. So that very same day that this episode premiered, Larry Holmes won the heavyweight boxing title. So we are pre-Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson is about to happen, but hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
This is also around the same time that Canadian Rick Hansen set off on his Man in Motion tour in his wheelchair, raising money for spinal research, which he would successfully complete more than 2 years later. Now, this is the event that would inspire the St. Elmo's Fire song from John Parr.
Okay.
So this is about to happen. The Mr. Belvedere premiere happened 2 days after the birth of Emil Hirsch.
Huh.
Yeah. Emil Hirsch, who you might know from the movies Into the Wild and Speed Racer.
Yep.
And then, a week after Mr. Belvedere premiered, Keira Knightley was born.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. This is also right around the time that Billy Joel married Christy Brinkley. The popular songs at the moment when Mr. Belvedere premiered, Can't Fight This Feeling from REO Speedwagon, Material Girl from Madonna. I don't know how you feel about this Phil Collins song, One More Night.
I mean, I think the song is fine, but it's a little slow and meandering to me compared to some of my other favorite Phil Collins tracks.
The Heat Is On from Glenn Frey, Private Dancer from Tina Turner, Relax from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Careless Whisper was popular at this moment, Crazy for You from Madonna, and then the David Lee Roth version of California Girls was popular at the time of the premiere of Mr. Belvedere. The number one movie at the time was Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
So you had the Beverly Hills Cop era and Mr. Belvedere are happening hand in hand. Also popular at the box office, Witness, The Breakfast Club, The Sure Thing, which was the Rob Reiner movie. Have you seen The Sure Thing?
Yeah, I think that Rob Reiner has a very impressive, like, early run of his career. The Sure Thing is probably like the biggest dip in that perfect run, but it's still a very good movie.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sandwiched between, like, arguably 5 of the greatest films ever made in American cinema. It kind of feels like a little bit of a step down.
Sure. Also, Matt, I don't know which number this is. I'm sure you're going to know instantly, but Friday the 13th, A New Beginning.
That's part 5.
Part 5.
That's one of my favorites, although that is probably the most hated of one of the most hated ones because Jason Voorhees not in it. It's it's an ambulance driver named Roy who dresses up like Jason Voorhees and tortures a bunch of kids in a sane asylum.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. The number one TV show at this moment was The Cosby Show, followed by Family Ties. Those were both NBC shows. Now, Mr. Belvedere was an ABC show. ABC's biggest show at this moment was Dynasty, and their biggest comedy at this moment was Who's the Boss? Now, Mr. Belvedere would eventually crack into like whatever to be the 51st biggest show the next year, like in the Nielsen ratings. Miraculously, it did get renewed, and it climbed some after that. And, bringing it back to this pilot, I really hope, now I can't remember a lot. I remember like moments of Mr. Belvedere. I'm interested to know if like we get more of the Belvedere backstory because he just kind of ended up there. And
he just walks in.
Yeah. You find out in this episode that like when Marcia's asking for his references, that one of his references is Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill, yeah. I did note that. A little weird.
Like, why is he now in Pittsburgh? Why, if you had that prestigious of a position at some point in England, what is making you just show up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh to be the butler for this family? I don't understand.
When you drop kicked your jacket as you came through the door, no one...
Mr. Belvedere will be right back.
Hey there, One Hit Thunder listeners. Are you ready to take your music to the next level? Well, get ready to rock because this episode is brought to you by DistroKid, the ultimate digital music distribution service for artists like you. With DistroKid, you can easily upload your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, reaching fans all around the globe. But that's just the beginning. DistroKid offers a ton of awesome features like Hyperfollow, which helps you promote your releases and get pre-saves on your songs, all for free. But wait, there's more. The DistroKid app is now available on iOS and Android. With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. This powerful tool allows you to put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time. But that's not all. DistroKid has just launched a brand new feature called Instant Share, allowing you to easily share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more. With Instant Share, you can keep your music streaming at the highest quality while making the best impression possible. So what are you waiting for? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities. Possibilities that I know all about because I've been using DistroKid for years. It's seriously great. If you haven't used it before, you're going to love it. And One Hit Thunder listeners get an exclusive offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid by signing up at distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder. That's distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are...
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team. New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases. Unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online. And a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business. You'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
You thought this was your Run Club era. Turns out, it was more of a thinking about Run Club era. The good news? Someone's marathon training is about to start. Sell your workout gear on Depop. Just snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. They get their race day fit, and you get a payout for trying. Someone on Depop wants what you've got. Start selling now. Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs. So you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
No one spared. All hands look out below.
Interesting enough, Matt, there was a joke that I didn't get, and I tried to do some research like, can I get this joke? But when Mr. Belvedere first introduces himself, he says,
That's Belvedere. Lynn Belvedere.
Lynn? That's a girl's name. Wesley.
Wesley? A difficult birth, I take it.
I don't get the joke. Do you get that joke?
I don't at all. Did you look that up yet?
I did look it up to try to figure out, like, why the studio audience is laughing both before and after the punchline of a difficult birth, I take it. And the only thing I could come up with is that Wesley was a popular name in the 18th century as an homage to John and Charles Wesley, the English founders of the Methodist movement. And then I was like, did Methodists have historically difficult births?
I'm looking this up right now because okay, so there's a website, streaksonthechina.wordpress.com that has episode by episode breakdowns and reviews. And I searched Wesley in the episode 1 Stranger Than Night, and it says, this is the paragraph that it says. After the credits and theme song, Mr. Belvedere reintroduces himself and includes the fact that his first name is Lynn. When Wesley points out correctly, sorry, Lynn Swan, that that's a girl's name, Mr. Belvedere muses, since Wesley was named Wesley, he must have been a difficult birth, which, what? Then it says in all caps, how is that a punchline? What does this even mean? 1985, I can only assume cocaine. And that is the end of it. So even a person who is a big enough fan of Mr. Belvedere to build an entire website dedicated to episode breakdowns is still like, what?
It got a big laugh out of the studio audience, which I also wondered, I don't know the answer to this. Is this an actual live studio audience or is this canned laughter?
It might be canned laughter for pilots.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that's the normal practice here.
Regardless, in this episode, it's very clear that Mr. Belvedere would be a great addition to the house where they desperately need it because the parents can't keep track of what's going on in the kids' lives. They all have like these things in their lives, which their mom is studying for her law degree, or dad has to like go out and pay the bills with his job or whatever. And they need a Mr. Belvedere in their life. And it's very obvious. He makes a connection with each one of the kids in one way or another. Like he talks to Wesley as Wesley's looking for his hamster. He walks in on a conversation that Heather is having with her boyfriend where he's obviously like pressuring her into sex. And then he has this moment with Kevin where he's sitting in the car in the garage, which I thought he was going to make a reference to. I believe the car is on in the garage. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have the car on in the garage, but he has these special moments with the kids and kind of bonds with all of them. But George especially cannot fathom having Mr. Belvedere in the house for some reason. And they're basically telling him that, despite the fact that you're obviously good at this, we're going to let you go because we want someone who can relate to the kids more. And it's at that moment where Mr. Belvedere just like completely just rats out every kid on something that's going in their life. He says,
Oh, by the way, Kevin has changed his grades.
Downward. I'd ask him why. Heather doesn't want to go all the way. To Billy's house. And Wesley? I think Wesley would prefer a dog to this rather dusty but durable creature.
And then Mr. Belvedere pulls Inky the hamster out of his pocket. So he has been keeping this hamster in his pocket for a while now. And I don't know. It's at that point where they realize that Mr. Belvedere is the right choice, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think they decided that it makes the most sense to hire Belvedere.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Belvedere had already been making them a fancy English breakfast. In fact, he has the Scotch eggs in the oven. And Matt, do you know what a Scotch egg is?
I don't think I do. What is a Scotch egg?
A Scotch egg is a classic British dish consisting of a boiled egg wrapped in seasoned sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and then baked until golden and crispy.
Okay.
So, Matt, we're going to get to it eventually here. I believe that the Scotch egg should be our rating system. How many Scotch eggs do you give each episode on Belvedere Bros?
Sure. I'm going to go along with you that this is a thing that we're doing every single week, and we'll do the Scotch egg rating.
I can't believe you think that Belvedere Bros is just a one episode thing.
I feel like, we're 25 minutes in, and at least half of that time was plot back history of Belvedere. Do we I think we need to maybe do it season by season or clusters of episodes. I don't think we can do episode by episode
You're such a hater.
I just don't think there's enough meat on the bone, Chris. I thought that was the joke of Belvedere Bros.
No, there's so much meat on the bone. I want to know what Mr. Belvedere has to have some sort of backstory.
So I looked something else up. I just wanted, it doesn't have an answer, fortunately for us. But I Googled, why did Mr. Belvedere end up in Pittsburgh? And I want to read you this. This is from Reddit. And someone 11 years ago posed the question. How did Mr. Belvedere wind up working for the Owens family in Pittsburgh? He had previously been a butler for Kings, Roosevelt, Gandhi. The opening credits you see is past, and it cuts to him hitchhiking to Pittsburgh in present day 1985. But it doesn't show why he's in Pittsburgh or how he ended up there. I seem to vaguely remember some type of origin story or something about losing a gambling wager, but I'm really not sure, and I need to know how this happened. No one has answered this question, but here's why I think it's hilarious. What subreddit do you think this question was posed on Reddit?
Please tell me there's a Brocktoon subreddit.
Actually, someone did ask in the comments, shouldn't this be in Brocktoon? But it was posted in the subreddit Ask Science Fiction, which is so confusing. Why someone's asking Mr. Belvedere questions in a science fiction subreddit?
I got to tell you, Matt, the next thing I do want to move on to here is the YouTube comments on the pilot, which, by the way, you can watch the pilot. You can watch, I assume, every episode of Mr. Belvedere on YouTube. But I wanted to bring up some noteworthy YouTube comments to you. There were so many about calling him Brocktoon. I think that's so funny. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a Saturday Night Live sketch with Tom Hanks and Kevin Nealon and Tim Meadows and Chris Farley.
So you mentioned this sketch to me, and I know you don't check TikTok that much, but I did. I randomly was scrolling through TikTok, and one of the other day I logged in, and the top video that showed up to me was someone had uploaded this sketch in its entirety. So I watched it, and then I sent it to you because I thought it would make you laugh. But then I was like, Chris doesn't go on TikTok anymore, really.
No, I don't.
He's never going to see this.
Okay, and now to our next order of business is the nickname issue. Now, last time we spoke, we resolved to come up with a nickname for Mr. Belvedere that only we use so we can identify each other in a strange town or something, right? Okay, ideas?
How about Thaddeus or Big Bob?
Betty.
How about the man who rides alone? Head cheese?
El Stinkmeister.
Boo!
I like Beacon of Bliss.
How about Brocktoon?
Brocktoon, hey, I like it. All right, let's vote. All right, all in favor of Brocktoon, say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, nay.
Nay.
Brocktoon it is.
I really loved there was a comment. There's a comment that said, thank you for uploading all these Brocktoon episodes. And the username who said, thank you for uploading all these Brocktoon episodes, fan of Brocktoon 6286. Eric Mustaine 88 said, know what I noticed about this very first episode is up until Christopher Hewett walked in, it was a slow burn. It's amazing how fast he picked up the speed and tempo of the show and made it interesting and comical that fast. What an incredibly underrated actor he was.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was a pretty good comment. Another comment, this one from Gregory Snipe. This one's from 7 months ago, I might add. A family with 2 teenage children and 1 older child, comma, doesn't need a live-in nanny.
No. Well, so that was the other thing I had to laugh about was referring to the nanny that I mentioned earlier. Like, there's a joke. I'm in the last season of The Nanny, and there's, you know, the plot of The Nanny, for those of you who don't know, Fran Drescher is not an actual trained nanny by any stretch of the imagination. We gets hired to be the nanny for 3 kids for this rich guy. But by the time you get to season 6, like, the youngest kid is a freshman in high school, and her and their dad are having a will they, won't they. And he even says to her at one point, like, he's like, but what if we break up and it messes up things with the children? She's like, the children are old enough to vote. Like, she's like it's, there is this bit that you eventually fall into with sitcoms where you have to cast actors old enough to shoot around the legal requirements, but then I agree. Like, Heather and Kevin do not need a nanny or of any kind living in their home. Maybe Wesley. Wesley's a troublemaker. I can see he's a handful.
Well, I'll continue with Gregory Snipe's comment.
Yes, please.
The youngest one is old enough, comma, to make his own dinner if he's hungry. And the 3 of them are sufficient to do anything that needs to be done in the house, while the mom is going through law school. It's like the kids are helpless, and it's the mom's fault because she wants to go to school. And how do they pay for this? The father's a journalist, and the mom is going to law school. Who's paying for all these kids and the mortgage on the house and a live-in nanny?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good questions.
Point taken, Gregory Snipe. I also wanted to highlight the worst comment. And before I read this comment, I do want to say that I replied to this comment and said, this is by far the worst comment to the pilot episode of Mr. Belvedere. This one comes from Patty Loves USA, which also I want to note, this comment is from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Patty Loves USA left the comment, Wesley was the GOAT, my age. Had a crush on him when I watched in the 80s, smiley face. Unfortunately, he's gay, which suggests that he was abused, frowny face. He is a member of a group which specifically targets Kirk Cameron because of his outspoken commitments to Christian emoji morals. Such a common trope for the gays to hate on God and the nuclear family. It's almost as if they're brainwashed against truth. They mock tradition. Wicked.
So I actually was looking into something related to this just now, and I have another factoid for you, Chris.
Okay.
So I was looking at Christopher Hewett's Wikipedia page, and I happened to notice here that it said he was a devout Catholic and a lifelong bachelor.
Okay.
Which, you know, made me go like, was he gay? And then, like, you know, thinking about roles that he played. So I Googled, was Christopher Hewett gay?
Hewett.
I did not. Hewett, gay. Did not get a result to that, but I got another Reddit page, this time on our Today I Learned. And I just want to read you what their Today I Learned was.
Okay.
Today I learned that the actor who played Mr. Belvedere, Christopher Hewett, regularly caused production of the series to stop due to the fact that he kept repeatedly injuring himself by sitting on his own testicles.
Right. Yeah, this is a very famous Mr. Belvedere story. Yes.
Delightful.
What does that have to do with this comment?
I have no clue. You were mentioning about them being upset about them possibly being gay, and I wanted to bounce off of my Google searches and results.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this is by far the worst comment on this. And if it is true that the actor, let's see what his name is, that the actor Bryce Beckham is actually out there putting in the good work. And I commend him on what we have recently been told, that we are a, delusional leftist podcast?
Yep, that's what we do.
That's what we do here at One Hit Thunder and now on Belvedere Bros. And Patty Loves USA, you should absolutely go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's about all I have as far as YouTube comments go. But Matt, the important question is, how many Scotch eggs are you going to give the pilot episode of Mr. Belvedere?
Are we doing it on a 5 or 10 egg scale, Chris?
Oh, that's a good question.
We doing a dozen? We doing out of a dozen?
A dozen, yeah. That's exactly what we should do.
I'd go like 7 or 8 dozen, or 7 or 8
dozen?
eggs. Sorry, 7 or 8 eggs out of the dozen. It's good. It had its moments. I thought it was slow to start. I mean, the theme song is a 12 out of 12.
Oh yeah, that's a dozen
on the Scotch egg scale. But I'd go with 8. I feel comfortable with 8 out of a dozen.
Okay. 8. I kind of like that rating. I think it's a strong pilot that achieved making me laugh out loud at some point in the episode. And it sets up the story, and for being a show that has like a laugh track and stuff, it could have been a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse, and they're just establishing this world of Mr. Belvedere and the family that's definitely going to expand after this. But I think it was a pretty strong pilot. I'm also going to give it 8 Scotch eggs as the pilot episode.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Matt, I look forward to our 100+ more episodes of Belvedere Bros. And I've had a lot of fun on our pilot episode.
This was a fun pilot.
An American journal. The Odyssey continues. I find fate has deposited me with the Owens family, a somewhat provincial household in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. Although the individual members seem well-intentioned enough, they do seem a bit out of touch with one another. But with a certain amount of patience and direction, I'm sure I can whip them into shape. Even George.
They're damn lucky to have me.
This has been Belvedere Bros. Belvedere Bros is hosted by Matt Kelly of the Geekscape Network and produced by Christopher Hewett of Punchline. Underneath me, you're hearing the end credits theme song of Mr. Belvedere, written by Gary Portnoy and Judy Hart Angelo. Belvedere Bros is not on Patreon, but One Hit Thunder is. You can find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on a future episode of Mr. Belvedere for Matt and I to completely act out. Support the show by buying some merchandise at our store, onehitthunder.dashery.com, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our show on any podcasting app. Tune in next week for more Belvedere Bros, maybe, but definitely more One Hit Thunder.
Summer is calling, and your favorite artists are at Wolf Trap. Tickets on sale at wolftrap.org.